Hello, my friends. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you could, thank you, Rachel. If you could raise your hand if you can hear the sound of my voice. I think you might be able to, but just want to be sure. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Yay. Well, I am just delighted with the people that I see that are here with me today. Some of my dear, dear friends. So thank you for being here, and anybody that has not shared space with me, my name is Laurel, and this is my monthly support call. We meet on the first Wednesday of each month. It's for me, where I am now, it's 11 a.m. Central Time. But wherever you are, whatever time it is, I just thank you for making the effort and deciding to join us today. And this call is an opportunity to receive support. Any area in your life that you'd like assistance on using the Sedona method, this lovely releasing technique, I'm happy to help. It's also an opportunity to ask questions if you're using this technique on your own, or if you're new to the Sedona method, happy to answer any questions the best that I can. I am a fairly newly certified coach with this technique under Hal Dwoskin, and I've been using it, facilitating with others since 2018. And it's also a chance to share gains. If you've been releasing and you've noticed that it's made a difference in your life, we'd love to hear it. So anything you'd like to share around that is most welcome as well. And we don't use video just so we can have a chance not to be worried about our appearance. You be as you are. If you want to be laying down in your seat or any other arrangement, you're just free to be as you are. And I'll just have people raise their hand, and we'll just get through as much as we can today. We may have people joining us throughout the call, coming and going, and that's just all just fine. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be here with you. A lot of what I do, you'll notice if you work with different facilitators or coaches using the Sedona method, we all kind of have our different take on it, or a different style or approach. And for me, I really enjoy working in tandem with the body. I like to bring that in as much as possible to help us connect to the physical body. Often we're in our headspace, really thinking, or might be caught up in emotion, and it's just a good reminder to drop back in and seeing what the body has to tell us. So you may notice that during this call. And this call will be recorded and uploaded to my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Laurel Askew. You can find it pretty easily. And if you work with me today, it's really great to be able to listen, afterwards, and as many times as you want to continue to experience the benefits of that release. All right, I think that's enough announcing. I was trying to decide if I don't see any hands raised now. So let's just start with a little quick group release. We'll be doing group releases as well as working one-on-one. So let's just do a little group release to notice the body. Wherever you are in this moment. Can you take a moment and notice what is? You might notice the sound of my voice or other noises in your environment. It might be a smell. Can you notice the temperature of the air? and your chest rising and falling with each breath. You may also notice thoughts coming and going. There may be something asking for your attention. If so, can you simply notice those thoughts? Allow them to drift on by like clouds in the sky. And then could you notice this wonderful body? It carries you around each and every day. Noticing if there's any sensations, any sense of contraction, stiffness, tenderness. It may also be kind of like an energetic sensation in the body, feeling of anxiousness or nervousness. Maybe you're thinking about asking a question and that brings up some sensation. And if there is an area that is asking for some attention, that has something to say, I often invite people to place a hand in that part of their body. I have some energy in my solar plexus. I'm just kind of placing a hand there to just offer some reassurance to the body that, yes, I hear you, I notice you, I'm paying attention. I see this as another way of welcoming or noticing what's here now. So if you have placed a hand somewhere on your body, I invite you to notice the breath moving through that part of the body. For me, it's easy to notice the rising and falling of the stomach with my hand there. But if there's somewhere else that might be a little bit not as direct of a connection, you might just draw your attention there and draw your breath in that part of the body. Another indication of noticing and welcoming what's here now. And whatever is apparently happening in this body, in this mind, could you simply allow it to be? It's often a response of wanting the body to behave, trying to control it in some way when it's doing things that we don't like or approve of. So if that feels relevant to you now, could you just let that go for now, as best as you can? Or just simply noticing, taking an inventory. From this place of curiosity, could you notice the body like you were noticing it for the first time? Oh, isn't that interesting? There's this thing happening here. Huh. Without needing to figure it out or fix or change it in any way, you simply notice. And could you allow it to be just as it is? Again, just for now, as best as you can. And if there's nothing happening in the body in this moment that's really getting your attention, I would say you're very fortunate if that's the case. But if so, there may also be thoughts or emotions that are asking for attention. And you could also simply notice those. Whatever is here, whatever is apparently happening, could you simply notice it? And allow it to be just as it is, as best as you can. Now I invite you to check back. Whatever it is that you've been welcoming, notice if there's been any shift, any subtle change from when we started. For me, this sensation I have in the solar plexus has totally relaxed and dissolved. There's a feeling of being more grounded within this body mind, more present with all of you. So just simply notice if there's been any shift at all. And can you welcome that too? Whatever is here now in this moment. Beautiful. All right. Well, we have started. Ready to see where this time takes us. Yay. Rachel.
Good morning.
Hi.
Very excited that I now have the opportunity to make these each month.
I'm so glad.
And I wanted to say before I asked my question or asked for support, your YouTube is tremendously helpful, and I've been able to access your previous ones on there. So I'm very grateful that you provide that resource to us.
Oh, I think it was you that was wanting to access past calls, and so you were part of the inspiration.
Yay. Well, thank you, because I do go back and check them.
I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you, Rachel.
Um, so I have been experiencing, I think I believe it's a story I'm telling myself, or a story that has been attached to me, that has been told to me, that I've adopted, of sort of breaking through, the inability, I should say, to break through this kind of, uh, I don't think it's a lack mentality. I'll tell you what it is, and then maybe you can support the vocabulary for it. But it's this kind of feeling that I keep feeling the sense that I cannot break through a certain income, that my skill set is not worthy of a certain
Mm.
amount. Um, it's almost like this worthiness feeling, I guess I would say. But I've been really struggling with it for several months now, and I feel it in my body a lot, almost a survival feeling, and I just don't really want it anymore.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. I'm sure there's other people here that can relate. Is this something, I mean, I think this is very relatable. And do you have a preference of working together one-on-one with it or doing a group release? Either one's
Um,
fine.
I think a group release is fine, because if other people will benefit from it, then that's great.
Okay. And then I'll check back in with you afterwards to see if there's anything else that
Sounds
needs to
good.
be. Okay, perfect. check to see if there's any part of you that feels there's a lack around money. And your story might be a little bit different than what Rachel shared, but just notice your relationship to money and the sense that, you know, you're here and then there's this money over here that you really want to be earning and bringing in, but it's kind of out of reach. And whatever your story is around that, could you simply notice that? Notice how you would describe your relationship with money. And taking a moment to welcome that as best as you can. And then could you also welcome any thoughts that arise around money and not having enough money or being able to earn a certain amount of money? Could you notice and welcome whatever arises around that? And then could you notice the feelings that come up around your relationship with money? And could you welcome those feelings as best as you can? And could you notice if there's any unworthiness there? I feel unworthy to be able to earn the amount of money that I want to earn. I don't deserve this. And if so, could you notice and welcome that again as best as you can? Just simply acknowledging it. Well, there might be some unworthiness there. And can you notice what shows up in the body? Any sense of contraction that arises as you notice the story around money or your relationship to it? And as I mentioned earlier, if there is a response in the body, I invite you to place a hand, direct your breath, really notice what happens in the body in response to money. Money is very much connected to survival, as Rachel mentioned. So there can be a feeling of not feeling safe. So can you acknowledge whatever comes up around that? And notice if there's any other sense of judgment around your relationship with money. Maybe there's a judgment of, why can't I do this? Why has this not been easier for me? There could also be a judgment around wanting money. Sometimes people have a sense that, they have some judgment attached to what it means to have money. Noticing if there's anything there. Can you welcome whatever is showing up? And just check to see if there's anything else around this apparent problem, around your relationship with money, any difficulties with having it, attracting it, earning it. Whatever you notice. Could you allow that? Allow it to be here. It's here anyway. No need fighting it. And you welcome all of that as best as you can. And then could you notice how much you want that money? Notice all the desire for it, all the wanting. As well as any resistance to not having it. So anything that you're pushing against. Or it feels like this striving or effort. I want this to be different. Can I start earning more money already? Any sense of resistance around money? Just noticing what's there. As you know, and that wanting, there's this sense of, there might be a sense of wanting control, approval, security. There's also wanting separation or oneness that may apply. Could be a sense of, of having a different way of living. If I have this money, then I'll get to do more things, have more things. Just noticing if that wanting, is anything specific that it's connected to. Could you welcome all of that as best as you can? All the wanting for this to be different, your situation to change. And notice how much energy is caught up in that, much attention. And then could you also notice anything that's holding on? If this is something that you've been trying to change for a while, well, what's that holding back? It could be the stories or beliefs around not feeling worthy, not believing that you're capable of earning this money, thinking that, oh, it's just going to continue the way that it's always been. These are the thoughts that hold us back, that limit what's possible for us, what we think we can do and achieve. So check to see if there's any of those beliefs going on. Maybe there's also a sense of fear of like, well, I don't know if I have this money, my life might change. I might not have as much time. I'll have more responsibilities. Seeing any of those thoughts or beliefs that are causing you to hold on, to remain as is. And could you welcome both sides? The pushing away, wanting something different, and the holding close, wanting to stay the same. The aversion and the attachment. Could you welcome all of that as best as you can? And then could you notice any sense of making this personal? That your value is tied to money in some way. And this is about you and who you are. Can you notice any identification with money? That the amount I earn, what I have, what I'm able to generate is a reflection of me. Could you notice if there's anything here that feels like it's yours, it's part of who you are, a sense of me or mine or I in relationship to money and what you're earning. Any sense of your personal value being connected to money in some way. And if so, can you simply notice and welcome that? And finally, could you notice what's beyond all of this? And I really want to focus on the wanting, the sense of lack or separation from money, all the energy that's caught up with that. And if you were able to let that go, what would be here instead? Could it be possible to feel ease and content no matter how much money you are generating? Could you be open to that possibility? Could you be open to the possibility of your worth not being connected to anything? What would that look like? What would that feel like? To be absolutely free. Regardless of what was happening, what you were doing. Did you welcome that freedom? Beyond money, beyond possessions, beyond things or what's being done and accomplished. To be open to that possibility of being free no matter what our work look like. Just for now, leaning into that, leaning back and relaxing into that freedom. That sense of love and acceptance for who we are, regardless of what's being done or accomplished. Could you welcome the love that you are? Always. Regardless of the story that might pop up in the mind. It's simply a thought. And you are much more than that. The truth of who you are. And I just want to add that the freedom that is in each moment, the love that we are, the immaculate divine nature of the truth of who we are, that is constant. No matter what we're doing, what we're earning, what we're thinking. So it doesn't, by welcoming that truth, doesn't deter from doing the things in life that we feel drawn to do. Not at all. But the sense of striving, the sense of longing, the sense of yearning, the sense that I'm separate from something while it might seem like that helps us get somewhere or accomplish something, it's just separating us from the truth of who we are and creating more resistance and struggle. So in the space that is beyond all of that, could you allow everything to unfold as it is? As best as you can. It will all come, or it won't. But fighting it, it just creates more struggle. I'm going to end there and see if Rachel needs anything else. Are you good, Rachel?
Thank you. Yes. Yeah,
Awesome.
I was a little sleepy. Definitely, I definitely started to like just tear up as soon as we started talking about it. But as we moved through it, there was much more ease in my body, and I had a few very lovely awarenesses that I was able to let go of. So thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah.
Bye. Hey, Mari.
Hi, Laurel.
How's it going?
Good. I just want to begin by saying thank you. You were talking about the gains, and one of the things I feel that has, like, just with a lot of this is I feel grateful, like things are still hard, still looking for a job, like doing all those things, but there's also this like peeping sense of gratitude that feels very genuine. Like I'm not writing the list. It just feels like I feel grateful for things. So, and this is one of the
Oh,
things I feel grateful for. So thank you.
oh, thank you. Oh, really glad to hear that. I know that's
Yeah.
taken you a while to get to that, so I'm
Yeah,
it's
and
an
it's
awesome gain.
yeah, and it's it doesn't feel forced. It just feels like a tap root, like there's a lot of
Yeah.
gratitude there. So thank you.
Mhm.
One of the questions I had as I do the releasing and even in the previous one, I always get caught on like one thing that I can't seem to like budge around or I can't seem
Yeah.
to release around. And it's always like I with all the releases, I always end up on this like one cliff that or just this, like your sweater gets caught on something. Um, and that's that other people wouldn't be happy. So it's like even with the money, it's like there's this part of me that's like you're not loved, like no one likes you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then as I go deeper and deeper, it's actually afraid. Like there's a fear that comes up. Well, if I did love you, or if you did have money, or if this thing did resolve itself, like other people would not be happy about it. And I just kind of sit there with that and I can like really feel it. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I try to notice it, but it doesn't like loosen or move or anything. I'm just sort of like, oh yeah, like that's there. So any support around that would be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've worked together on the wants before, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I know this is something that you've mentioned before. Hope you don't mind me saying that. And
No, not at all.
okay. And so what comes up with it is, there's the wanting separation and then the wanting oneness. And the separation is sometimes it's kind of hard, like for people to get their heads around it. But often it can come up when we like have the sense of other, like I'm this, and then there's this group over here, and they're different from me, and the more that I believe that we're different, that's like wanting separation, like the sense of like these people are there, I'm here, and we're going to keep a distance, keep separation to feel safe. And then there's the wanting oneness, which can sometimes happen, people that are doing spiritual work or releasing, and at the end, there's this sense of, whatever you feel when you release, often people mention a sense of, openness and spaciousness and ease and peace and calm. And it can feel like such a contrast from the day-to-day world, what seems like a struggle. And so they can kind of want to go back to that place of oneness, that they felt before. Whereas like it's actually here all the time, but we just don't see it because all the other clutter gets in the way. And so just knowing that this is an ongoing experience that you've had, I'm just curious if there is either of those are showing up for you, or this idea of like we need to stay separate, or like I want to connect, I want to feel that sense of love and connection to people, but there's something getting in the way of that. Do either of those resonate for you?
Yeah, the way that it works in my brain or in my body, the way it feels for me is like, um, if you become who you want to be, or like get this money or get this job, like it's going to cost you connection. So oneness feels like if you want to be part of the oneness, then you need to stay like really small, and that'll keep you in the group. But if let's say you become your true self, like you're on your own and we aren't going to be happy. So, and that's going to be scary. So that's how it is for me. It's like, um, it's going to cost you connection, so don't do it.
Okay. And so the idea is that there is a one, I want to be one, but I feel like the stuff that's going on is getting in the way of that. Does that
Yeah, I
apply?
mean, consciously, I just want to be me.
Uh-huh.
Unconsciously, I think there's this pull of like, don't do that because you're gonna leave people behind. People aren't gonna be happy. And I can't like consciously be like, forget about it. Who cares? Like, I can say that, but it's not what's happening. So I think there is this like deep desire to stay connected, and that's what's sort of keeping
Okay.
me struggling.
Yeah. And that's the desire to stay connected is the wanting one. Okay. I just wanted to see if it connected for you or not. Okay. So, and is there a sense that you're not connected now?
Um, No, I'm connected, but I'm like being connected is like I'm connected, but I'm like squashed, like it's
Mm.
like to be connected, you can't be yourself, or like you can't grow, or you can't have money, or you can't get this great thing because then you'll be like exiled, or so don't do that. So I'm connected, but it's like costly. It's uh like oppressive almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is one of the beliefs that I just really can't be myself because it's going to cost me something.
I can't receive. If I receive, I'll
Okay. Yeah.
grow, and then it's like a tall poppy. Then I grow, and then you get taller than everyone, and then everyone wants to like chop your head off.
Okay. So I can't receive.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, I
that here?
think
Is that here now?
yeah, like I'm not allowed.
Not allowed. I'm not allowed to receive.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Okay.
that'll separate you from the group, right? Like
Hmm.
that'll separate you.
Did you have an experience where that happened?
Yeah, I've had experiences where like I got something good, like a promotion or something good happened, and I lost friends and I lost the connection. And I still went ahead and did it because logically as an adult, you're like, well, whatever. But I
Yeah.
think, at another level, I realized, oh, this is costly. Like growth and like making more money and succeeding is actually, yeah, that's going to cost you.
Okay. All right. Let's do some could you, would you, when around these beliefs. Just see what happens.
Great. Thank you so much, Laurel.
You're welcome, Ari. So notice in this moment here now, any sense of belief that I'm not allowed to receive. Simply taking a moment to notice that thought. Notice whatever is there in the mind. There might be like these balloons that have multiple different words around that same kind of idea. Just whatever thoughts seem to be connected to that, noticing them. And then also noticing how it feels to think that, to believe that. And then noticing what happens in the body when we believe this is true, that I'm not allowed to receive. Noticing if there's a shrinking response to that, contraction.
It actually feels like a safe, like that'll keep you safe. Like letting
Okay.
go of that will be dangerous, and then that fear comes up. So this is kind of like a thing you can hold on to for safety.
Yeah. So, and we could keep being this way as long as we want to. But is that actually what Mari wants for herself? There is a safety thing going on, and we acknowledge that. Then as far as what Mari needs, to take care of herself, to grow, from that standpoint, do we want to keep holding on to this belief that by not allowing myself to receive, that keeps me safe? Do we want to keep doing that?
No.
Okay. And it's okay if there's a response that says, but that's not safe. That's okay. And if that comes up, just reassure it. If you can notice where that's coming from in the body, I invite you to just acknowledge it, put a hand there, because there will be the safety mechanism that kicks in. But knowing that, this idea that I'm not allowed to receive, it's actually hurting me. So knowing that, just for now, and as best as you can, could you, I'm going to say, just kind of ease up. You don't have to let it go fully, but could we just soften around this belief? Could we relax it? And tell me what response you get.
It's trying to like sort of recalibrate, okay, what would make receiving safe? Like what kind of belief? Like, okay, you're going to give it forward. Like that belief might make receiving safe. So it's like, well, what would make it safe to receive? So it's like trying to figure that out.
Okay, so there's something happening. So what if, like, in this moment, you didn't have to know like, you didn't have to know how? What if, like, we could just accept that there is a way, there is a possibility in the infinite realm of possibilities. There is a way for it to be safe to receive.
I
It
love
ex
that.
it exists. Yeah, good. Yeah. So knowing that, and take a moment to just welcome that there is a possibility here. There is a way to receive that's safe. I don't have to know how in this moment. I just know that exists somewhere. Allowing yourself to relax into that. And from that place, would you release or soften this belief that I'm not allowed, it's not safe to receive? Would you release that in whatever way is available to you in this moment? What comes up for you?
I really loved the idea of infinite realm of possibilities. I just
Yeah.
see like millions of dots, like just like there's all these possible dots, like data points.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's almost like going from one branch to another branch, like you're just swinging from like you're leaving that old branch and you're going
Beautiful.
to another data point and saying, okay, at this spot, it's safe. Like you can do both, like receive and be safe, like just that infinite realm. Like if you could just like sit on that seat, like I don't know how, but just if you could just open to
Yeah.
that possibility, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. But could you open to that possibility even more? That somewhere exists this place where I can receive and be safe. Could you welcome that possibility as best as you can? Again, how does not matter in this moment. Could you welcome that possibility? Notice what you feel like in the body when you do that. And then notice any resistance to that. Any sense that this isn't for me, it's not possible, it's going to be unsafe. Any sense of doubt. Can you notice that? And again, could you welcome this possibility that it is safe to receive? Somewhere in that infinite realm of possibilities that exists. So could you welcome that possibility? It is safe to receive. Could you welcome that from your heart space? The sense of receiving and feeling safe to receive. Could you allow your heart to expand and open up and receive that? And once again, noticing anything that feels unsafe around this. Maybe it's feeling more like an old pattern, an old response. Familiar. Something that's trying to protect you and keep you safe. Whatever shows up around that, could you simply acknowledge it? Thank you. Thank you for being with me all this time. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. And then once again, welcoming this beautiful possibility that it is safe to receive. It is safe for me to receive this mind body. And in this moment, could you allow yourself to receive that abundance? From this place of oneness that's connected to all that is, the infinite abundance of life and creation that you are a part of. And can you notice how the body feels when it allows itself to receive that abundant love? The light of all that is, all of creation, all space and time, flowing through you. And that beautiful infinite possibility of it's actually safe to receive this. Can you notice what feels right about that? Feels good. And could you welcome that as best as you can? This beautiful possibility where right here, right now, it is safe for me to receive. And I'm connected to the oneness and all that is, supporting me here now in this moment. And notice what lights up around that, what softens. And can you welcome and receive that even more as best as you can? All right, Mari, how was that for you?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I like the idea of like being a part of abundance.
Yeah.
Because because I'm not separate from it. So that's really nice.
Good.
And there were like waves of apprehension that came up, but they kind of like they were waves, like, oh, like, whoa, and then it kind of goes away.
Yeah.
Because I'm holding that possibility. And as I hold that possibility, it's like the tension and the sort of conflict. Like it comes up a little bit and then it kind of realizes, oh, like we're in a different spot. Like this is not the place for that. So
Well,
really soft and wonderful. Yeah, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. And I encourage you to listen to this again, when these thoughts arise and just keep playing with it. It's a beautiful
I will.
possibility.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. Is it Lottie? Lady Lottie?
It's Ladislav. Um,
Lottie. Hi.
mhm. Hi. I don't know what's I wanted. I'm not sure what I wanted. I was just falling asleep. Mm.
Perfect. Good.
So
Is there anything you'd like support around? Or are you feeling good?
let, let me see. No, maybe not this time.
Have you been releasing for a while?
You mean now or long term?
Long term.
Um, yes, but it's not where I want it still.
Okay. You said it's not where you wanted to go?
Yeah, I want to be, how to say, either better or more efficient. Like to be
Oh, you
dealt
want to,
with, certain things already.
oh, it's not releasing the way you would want it to release.
Yeah, or not fully releasing, just like temporary,
Okay.
piece by piece.
I understand. So is that something you want to look at, or are you good?
Yeah, if it's here already, so why not?
Okay. Right. Yeah. So could you notice how much you want to control how releasing happens?
Yeah,
Yeah. How much you want it to look a certain way.
not wanting, to suffer and wanting the good results on the outside and inside.
Absolutely. Perfect. Yeah. So notice how much you want those things. How much you yearn for them. Notice notice how separate those things feel from you. That it's you here and then all these things you've been releasing around are out there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then could you notice what's on the other side of that? If you no longer wanted for these things or yearn for them, if that sense of striving for something or pushing, a sense of resistance, if that dissolves, or you put a pause on that, what would be here instead? Is there a word that comes to mind? A word,
Yeah, there would be peace,
peace.
things would be as they, I don't know, how to say, as they should be,
Yeah, or as they are.
as they are, yeah.
At least that's what Hale says. I don't know.
Yeah, that thing, it's just all is as it is, like it's all perfect.
So in this moment, could you be open to this possibility of connecting to that sense of peace, for things to feel peaceful as they are? Without needing to know how, but could you be open to that possibility?
To be there where I want to get, right?
Yeah, or we said the sense of peace. If we weren't
Yeah.
striving, so could you
Yeah.
be open to feeling peace? And then could you welcome the peace that's here in this moment? Just right now. And could you welcome that peace even more?
Yeah.
Yeah. In this moment, it's you, me, and anyone else on this call. There's nothing that needs to be done. No striving. We're just connecting, sharing. Notice that sense of connection. And then could you notice anything that seems to be getting in the way of that? Anything getting in the way of peace? Any wanting things to be different? Any wanting to control or fix
Yeah.
or change? Yeah, and just notice it right now. It might feel like a memory, or it might feel out there, or what's to come outside of this moment.
Mm.
Just notice that. Any feelings, thoughts, or sensations that come up around it. Could you just simply notice them? And then again, can you notice the peace here and now? Notice what happens in your body when you welcome peace.
Do you say peace, by the way?
Peace, yes.
Okay, okay.
Notice what happens in the mind when you welcome peace. And notice any feelings that are here as you welcome the peace that's here and now. What does that feel like? How are we doing? Do you want me to keep going a little bit more, or?
Yeah, we can. It's mixed, peace, but also
Yeah,
some, tension and
yeah.
wanting to change it.
Yeah, notice that wanting to change. Notice how much that you want to change whatever's happening or appears to be happening in your life. And notice any anticipation. Like, oh, that's going to keep happening. I might feel a sense of peace now, but when we get off the call, I'm going to start feeling a lack of peace.
Certainly.
Yeah. So notice that wanting to this idea that it's just going to keep, this resistance will keep happening. Just acknowledging how much that feels true or real. What your experience around releasing has looked like. That's going to keep happening. Any sense of that? And then what if all that dissolved? What if all that just melted away? Could you welcome what would be here? If you absolutely accepted what was here in this moment. Regardless of what was happening.
I would be simply more aligned. I mean, aligned with the life.
Yeah, so in this moment, could you try that right now? Could you welcome absolute acceptance for what is? Even if it just feels like a possibility. Could you be open to that possibility of, well, maybe I could feel that way, even for a moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you welcome that a little bit more? In this moment, absolutely accepting whatever is here right now. Being at total peace. There's nothing I need to fix, change, or do right now. This is I'm welcoming it just as it is.
Mm-hmm.
How's that feel?
Peaceful.
Wonderful, wonderful. I want to give MJ a few moments. We're at time, but I want to give a few extra moments. Is this an okay stopping point for you?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lottie. Appreciate you. Hey, MJ. Aw. Are you there, MJ? MJ? I think.
There
Hey,
Can you hear me?
I
Sorry,
can hear you.
didn't have my camera actually plugged in for the microphone. Sorry.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. It was some wonderful releasing I did along with
Yeah.
everyone, so thank you. Yeah, I'm
Thanks for
totally
releasing.
fine if we don't do anything with me. That was a lot happened, so
Okay, are you sure?
I think so. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, it's good to hear your voice. I was on the last, I think we were both on the weekend retreat together with Hale
Yes.
last month. Yeah, yeah, so it's good to have you here again.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Yay.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay, thanks, MJ.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. And before we end today, I just want to do a shout out to another one of my dear, 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 dear friends who joined us today. My friend Dwayne. I see you, Dwayne. And yeah, we both have made big moves in our lives. Hey, buddy.
Hi, Laurel.
Aw, how you doing?
I'm living.
Well, good. Yeah, how's that heart doing?
It's okay. I've
Okay.
got a lot of work to do to keep it going.
Aw. Well, I'm glad you're on this side of things.
Yeah, yeah. So how
Yeah.
does one raise one's hand?
Oh, shoot. I should have explained that in the beginning. If you look on the bottom of are you on the phone or your computer?
I'm on my iPad.
Um, there is like, if you go to the bottom of the screen,
Yeah.
let's see, I don't know what it shows on yours. There's like a reactions option. Do you see
Oh,
that?
yeah. Yeah.
And so you can raise your hand, you can give a heart.
Okay.
Yeah. So was there anything that you wanted to ask or share or?
No, because of all the health issues I've had recently, I've got to let go of a bunch of fundamental beliefs I've carried around for most of my life. So that's what I'm working on now.
Okay. Wow. Sounds like you're busy.
Yep.
Aw. Well, let me shoot you a link to my connection. A way that you can schedule with me. I've started graduate school, so I've been really busy.
Oh, yeah.
Life's busy, but I would love if you want to do a little releasing together since you didn't know how to raise your hand today. I'm happy to share a little time with you so we can help work on your ticker.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. I'll send that to you.
All right.
All right. Thanks for being here today and send my love to Robin.
I'll do that.
All right. And thank you to everybody else who joined today. I appreciate being here with you all and hope to see you next month. I wish you all a wonderful day. Bye. Aw.